Hello, everyone. Sufit here. I'm here today with Charles B. Ticker, estate mediator and litigator, for the first of a series of mini videos called Mediation Minefield. What can blow up your mediation or have it just fizzle out without settlement? And today, Mr. Ticker, we are going to talk about assets. We're going to talk about how prepared clients are or aren't participants in a mediation when they show up and how that can affect the mediation. Take it away, Charles.
Well, thank you, Safid. So I've seen this happen so many times. Case has been going on for years. A dispute's been going on for years, and the parties and their counsel show up at the mediation, and nobody has a sense, clear or otherwise, of what the estate might be worth. No one has done a recent appraisal or gotten recent opinion letters on the value of real estate, corporations, information on debts or liabilities. So you spend half the day arguing about the size of the estate pie, because that's what it's about. How big is the pie, and how are we going to divide it up? And no one can predict with certainty what an estate's going to be worth if the property hasn't sold yet, or if it's, that's the true value is what you get for it, I guess, when you put it on the open market. But certainly you have to be at the mediation with some sense of a range of values so you can have an intelligent discussion about what the estate is worth. So that is something that can really blow up a mediation or cause tremendous difficulties that will result in an unsuccessful mediation.
So how do parties decide whether or not it's worth going to trial or not if they have no clue about what's in play, what's at stake?
Well, they often have an inflated value in their minds for the estate that isn't based on reality or isn't based on any expert opinion. And that's another thing that drives these disputes is they think that the estate is worth a lot more, or that there are assets that have not been properly accounted for or disclosed. And that's another thing that we see happen in mediation sometimes is one party will go to the other side and say, well, you haven't accounted for this, or you haven't accounted for this account or this gift. These are discussions that have to be held before the mediation. Doesn't mean you got to resolve it before the mediation, but the questions have to be asked and you have to get some sort of answer before, or it's going to be a very long day and the odds are you may not get a settlement.
Is it possible, Charles, that the participants to the mediation, you talked about the pie and the size of the pie, is it possible that the participants just want all the pie? They don't care if the pie is little, they don't care if the pie is big, they just want the pie. Is that something you see in these mediations?
Unfortunately, yes. I stress in my opening remarks that if the mediation is going to be successful, everybody has to be prepared to make serious compromise, painful compromise, or it won't work. But yet, when it comes to sitting down and dividing up the pie or sharing, they're not as generous as one would hope. And sometimes, it takes time and a little bit of coaxing on my part or the council's part to get the parties to want to share. But the initial position that most parties take is they don't want to give up too much. And they just want to keep as much as they can for themselves. And then the point I make is, well, if you want it all, the only person that's going to give it all to you is a judge, but you don't know what that judge is going to do. You may not get it all. You may get half, or you may get nothing. And even if you do get it all, what is it going to cost you to get there? Because you're not going to get all your costs back. So even if you win, you could lose. So clients or participants, they have to understand the process and how court works. And I always say to them in my opening remarks, it's like Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones always sing, you can't always get what you want.
Ah, that's it. Okay, well, thank you very much, Charles. Our guest today has been Charles B. Ticker, estate mediator and litigator, in the first of a series of mini videos called Mediation Minefield: What Can Make Your Mediation Blow Up or Fizzle Out Without Settlement. Thank you very much, Charles.
My pleasure.